Welcome to Costa Rica. My name is Johnny from Johnny Knows Costa Rica. Today we have the pleasure of being out here in Suave. You know what? When you get out here, you kind of feel like you're in nature, huh?
Absolutely.
You know what? This is Amber. Amber, a pleasure.
Likewise.
Pleasure. You know what? You're a resident here. Have you ever visited?
Yeah.
Have you ever visited here?
absolutely. Oh, no. This is amazing.
You know what? Sometimes when you live in Costa Rica, you don't really know some of the beauties of it, and even a sanctuary like this,
Yeah.
you know, maybe we'll have a doc come in and check us out and maybe give us some idea about how this is all possible. But let's talk about Amber. Amber, what made you choose Costa Rica here? Well, I kind of probably could tell you, but you know what, let me hear it from you.
Sure thing, Johnny. First off, thank you so much. My husband and I were living in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was during COVID. The pandemic was really challenging. I was a sales executive for Cardinal Health, and I had been with Cardinal for about...
But isn't that like a dream job?
It was a perceived dream job.
Oh, okay.
It was, and don't get me wrong, I love the people I work with. I had a 15-year career at that point that I had been with the organization, great manager. I enjoyed the role, but it was in the middle of a pandemic. And so it had incredible challenges that weren't anticipated. And during that time, we just decided that it was best for us to leave and go to another country to explore.
And Costa Rica was it?
Costa Rica was it.
Out of all countries to choose, you chose Costa Rica.
Absolutely.
Look at that. You guys got to know Costa Rica is a place to go. Now, but here we're in Suave. How do you feel as, you know, now as a resident and living here, this type of stuff, what does it do for you?
I think the best part about being here is the tranquility that you experience. There is a different frequency, I feel, within this country that's very different from what we experienced in the States with that hustle and bustle that was so consistent. And here it's just a different, it's a level of calm that exists.
Yeah, we're next to the monkeys here, and they're having a little fun time up there, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us, okay, Costa Rica to you with the tranquility, what is it that you do out here?
Yeah, so I am what's known as a certified trauma-informed pregnancy loss practitioner.
Really?
Absolutely.
So if I get, no, I can't do that. So tell us about what that is.
Yeah, so I support women to heal from the emotional trauma of pregnancy loss. And so for any mamas who may experience miscarriage or stillbirth, etc. There are so many different forms of loss. It is absolutely identified as trauma. However, at a societal level, it's not typically identified that way. And so if it is labeled in that way, it then gets treated in the way that is most beneficial for the woman to heal.
Well, we got this in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
We got monkeys, and we got this I think, connecting with people to help them in their trauma, like you said, because a lot of people go through this.
Absolutely.
Do you find it is that you here in Costa Rica can do it that much better? Because you're a chemist by nature, right?
Yeah, so I am a former analytical chemist, and it was once I got into the lab that I realized that being in the lab day in and day out with my materials wasn't as exciting as engaging with people on a consistent basis. And then that is what motivated and inspired me to get into healthcare. I've always been a scientist. I've always enjoyed it. Got into healthcare, really enjoyed the sales aspect, but then just shifted to more of a holistic life for myself. My husband and I have actually experienced loss, and so I like to say that this is more of a calling because it chose me, but if there's anything that I am, it is obedient to the call as it relates to my life and my life's purpose, and so that is what has led me to do it.
Well, I'm sorry for
Yeah.
you know what,
Thank you.
I see a lot of different types of loss, but you know what, my condolences, I didn't know. And you know what, we as men, we don't actually kind of get into that connection of so deep. So you know what, I'm glad that you're able to help others with that, because you know what, we need help as a society, period, but especially in that manner. Well, tell us a little bit about where you're living at here and how it goes with Costa Rica. Well, how does that flow?
Yeah, well, first off, the transition from that hustle and bustle life that I mentioned, it's really transitioning here has allowed us to live a more peaceful existence as well. And so as a result, I am, I think, a transformed human being. I don't get up first thing in the morning and go and grab my coffee and log on to my computer.
You don't have your task list ready? You don't have that ready? You just...
I do have a task list, but I start with my own self-care, which was not something that I was doing in the States. And so, you know, that's meditation and my consistent prayer life. That's always existed, but meditation and journaling and things of that nature, my gratitude practice, it just feels as though I have more time to engage in those things. So I'm a better human being to support my clients.
You know, Amber, in summary, what do you think people should know about Costa Rica as an expat, you know, and visiting this beautiful place here? What do you think that we should take lessons learned that, you know, you've been here for 3 years, right?
Yes, 3 years.
3 years. Lessons learned that maybe you wouldn't have done it initially, but now that you're more versed, what would you have told your first year Amber versus your third year Amber?
Oh my goodness. I would say that time is so precious. It's something that we can't get back, and it's so important for us to be present in our lives, to recognize that we have so many choices in order to improve our lives and the lives of others. And so if we can just allow ourselves those opportunities to experience all of the beauty of Costa Rica, it really supports not only your own well-being, but also those that you are connected to.
Amber, thank you for taking the time. It was such a pleasure. You know what, guys? I think Amber touched a point that a lot of us take for granted. It's time. Time is something that is so important and that you can't buy and you can't rent. You can only do it once. And if you use your time not wisely, right? You might not have a great time. So I hope you guys have an understanding of a perspective here in Costa Rica, but right here in Suave, this beautiful place, and hope you visit. I'm going to leave a link inside so you can check it out. Also check out Amber's site, because she also has a site on the things that she does. Pura vida, and always be safe.
Pura vida.